How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. So today we're starting a new series on the channel, which is Modern Warfare 2 101. Now this is basically season 2 to the Vanguard 101 series they had last year, which everybody seemed to love and enjoy. So pretty much we're going to talk about a different topic each episode, give you some tips on how to improve your game as well. So today's episode we're going to be talking about how to push buildings and how to deal with campers inside of them. So pretty much just a few different tips and strategies that you can use to improve when trying to clear out rooms and buildings. Now this is focused on Modern Warfare 2, but you can also use these tips on Warzone as they do apply for both games. So today we're going to be sort of talking through the tips first and then breaking down some clips at the end as usual. So let's get right into the content now, guys. I do hope you enjoy. So first of all, before you push into a building, you want to get as much information on the inside and who might be inside before you actually push. So to do this, you can just simply, look through the doors or the windows, just get as much info as you can whilst you're still safe outside. So you want to sort of rotate around the building, maybe look for different ways in, try and eliminate as many hiding spots as you can. Obviously, you don't want to spend too much time, but if you have a quick look before you push in, then it's always a good idea to do so. Obviously, as well, you can use things like stun grenades to check where an enemy might be. Also, use your UAV if there's a UAV on, or just use your hearing as well. I know the audio in this game is not the best, but it just really does help. So, for example, if you want to try and eliminate as many spots where the enemy may be first before you go in, this will help big time. So, for example, let's say I look through this door here. Can't see anybody on this side, part of the room down there. And then, for example, as well, I can't see anybody hiding here or behind that. You can kind of narrow it down to the enemy has to be somewhere in this sort of vicinity over here, if that makes sense. Now, when pushing a building and dealing with campers inside, movement is going to be your best friend when you actually come to jumping in. So you can do lots of things. You could dolphin dive in behind cover and then pop up. You could do a jump shot in, which would be my sort of favourite, and combo that into a little bunny hop at the end, like so. And then obviously the classic little slide, which isn't as effective in this game personally, because I know not a lot of people even bother with the slide cancelling. You can do it, but I don't really sort of recommend it until you master it, as it can be a little bit hard to do. And then also you can use shouldering, so that's just where you peek in and out of cover like this. So you could do this like that to narrow it down, keep checking whilst you're still in and out of cover, and then when you do finally see somebody, you can snap onto them like so. Now, my favourite way to push a building is by flanking and taking an alternate route into the building. Now, the most basic way to describe flanking to anybody who may not know is, for example, say I have an enemy inside this building who's aiming down here and got this door covered, or maybe he's in a gunfight with my teammates here, shooting outside. So what I would then do, instead of pushing him head on, I could push around the side and quite simply take him out from behind. And that's just the most basic concept of it. You can use, different little jump spots to get into buildings, just many different ways. You could sort of create a distraction here, and then maybe sort of backs into cover, and then you could push around and flank. Doesn't always have to be more than one teammate here, but yeah, just sort of think about it. It's sort of clever, and don't just run in head first if they've already got the angle covered, unless you're very confident in your gun skill, of course. So having good map knowledge and understanding the layouts of buildings is going to be key when you're pushing inside a building. So just knowing, for example, this room here, knowing that you've got the bar there with the head glitch where a lot of people tend to sit. So it's just knowing to expect that as you run in, and not just running in and dying like so. Or if you're coming from the opposite side, sort of narrowing it down, knowing he's probably behind the head glitch, and then you can use that to your advantage and jump shot around the side, or even try and flank around this side of the building, come here where he has no cover anymore. So it's just playing it smart and understanding the layouts and just getting to know it, and also understanding the jump spots on each map that you can use to your advantage to flank and to get a good advantage on the enemy. So something very important and handy to use when you're pushing a building is obviously using your equipment. Now this can mean using your stuns, as previously mentioned. Now I know there's somebody in there, and of course they will be stunned, so it's a good idea to push in after it. And of course using your lethals, like your semtexes, grenades, thermites, that sort of thing, to try and take them out before you even get in the building, or even just to weaken them. And another good one is using your gas grenades. Obviously, you can't run into the gas because it will hurt you because it's your own, but you can throw it in and then get a teammate to run in, and the enemies are going to be gassed and unable to fight back. The use of doors in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone is huge. You can use them to your advantage in many ways. Obviously, you can peek them like you have been able to in a few CODs now, and you can do this to get a good angle, maybe even a kill. But another way I like to use a door is if you just sort of know there's an enemy inside and you shut the door, you can then burst back through it and catch them off guard. Now, another way to do it is, say somebody sat inside, maybe on an objective or something along those lines, you can open it and they might pre-aim that door, use that to your advantage, and burst in through another direction. Now, I'm not promising this to work 100% of the time, but a lot of the times it will really catch them off guard, especially if you have dead silence or something like that as well. So it's just something to bear in mind. So one last tip is going to sound a little bit strange, but you don't always actually have to push a building. So for example, you can maybe find another angle or line of sight to look into a building like this here. You can probably see into the top rather than pushing in. Now this allows you to take them out safely without getting yourself killed. Or even if a teammate might push in, or the objective might be the other side of the map, depending on how you like to play. So just don't always force gunfights, and I find you will stay alive a lot more and end up better in the long run and learning from it. So let's get into some clip breakdowns. Now, as you'll see here, I failed to throw there with a stun grenade and then throw my grenade inside. I noticed it's a trophy system, so I decided screw it, let's find an alternate route into the building, take out the first guy, and then finish off the second as well. Now, if we reverse that and slow it down a little bit, as you can see, as we're running over the top, I'm getting some intel off my UAV, and I can sort of see on the mini-map there's a guy on the right and on the left. So I decided to go for the one on the right first, as I'm still in cover from the guy on the left, and then swing it round and shoot through the door and take him out. And that just shows the importance of using your mini-map and just sort of having good knowledge of where the enemies are going to be. Now, in this clip, you'll see how I narrow down where the enemy could be by checking out all the hiding spots first. So if we slow that down there, as you can see, as I first push in through the door, I'll check the left and I can see nobody's there or nobody peeking through the door, so that leaves the guy having to be on my right somewhere. So we swing it round, jump shot style, and a little bunny hop there to finish off the enemy who was sat in the corner. So in the last two clips, here's an example of me throwing a stun in through the one window and then pushing through a different angle. Obviously the guy had his back to me anyway, but it's just a good bit of knowledge to have. If you stun through one way and then through another, they're not going to know where to expect you. And then one of my previous tips was to not push into a building and take them out from outside. This is what I mean by that. By hopping up the wall here, I actually take out the person before even entering the room. And once I do enter, a little bit of a mistake there, I shouldn't have pushed too soon. But yeah, it's always good to take somebody out before you actually get inside. So that's all we're going to have time for on today's episode, guys. If you have any suggestions or any tips you'd like to see covered on this series, please do let me know in the comments below. I am going to try my best to be more active on YouTube, but as I said before, it's really hard sometimes with IRL stuff and just new job and trying to find the right schedule. But if you did enjoy, please don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe and a like down below, as it really helps out the channel. I'd like to try and hit 2k before the end of the year, which is probably unlikely because I'm a bit inactive at the moment, but let's see how it goes. So without further ado, guys, do hope you enjoyed, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.